Grace and peace. I'm Pastor Renee Teague, the pastor of Enon United Methodist Church in Studley, Virginia. It's nice to have these little bits of time together. Today has been a rainy, cloudy day, but here on the Teague front, it's a day of thinking about plans and rearrangements. It's been a bit of a busy day. I started the morning with one of those wonderful times that pastors get to have where a person has generously given to another and I get to deliver the gift. If you have a little bit extra and you know of someone in need, find a way to make that connection. Those in need and those who've had very difficult times could use others that are generous. And if you need someone to help make the connection or you don't know exactly who to reach out to, then ask your pastor or ask a local pastor. We always know those things. It's just what we do. So today let's think about silence. One of the things that has happened in this time of stay home is there's been a lot more, maybe not complete silence, but it's a lot quieter. You know, there are probably a third as many cars that go up and down my neighborhood street as there used to be, and there are a lot more people walking. There are dogs I didn't even know were out there. But people walking are quieter than people driving. Some of the silence that we find right now, we don't enjoy because we're so used to having TV sets and radios and busyness all around us. We're addicted to the sound. And so when those things start slipping away from us, we feel the emptiness and we feel it quite strongly. Where's silence that you might enjoy, relax, and lean into? You know, God is in the silence. God is present in our noisy busyness. But when God reveals God's self, it's not in noisy busyness. Let's look to this passage in 1 Kings chapter 19 to read a little more about that. God said, "Go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Now there was a great wind, so strong that it was splitting mountains and breaking rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a sound of sheer silence. A sound of sheer silence. When Joni, my oldest daughter, was 16, we went on the Wild Cave tour in Mammoth, Kentucky. I was skinny then, and she was young, and it was actually her 16th birthday, and you had to be under a certain size, and you had to have on a certain pair of boots, and you had to do all these certain things, and we went like 5 miles in 6 hours underground in the caves. And at 356 feet below the surface of the earth, they sang Happy Birthday to Joni. And at that level under the surface of the earth, there is utter darkness. And there is utter silence. Human beings that had gotten stranded in the caves for just a short period of time would lose their minds because of the darkness and because of the silence. Silence is deafening. Well, right now, I would encourage us not to be so silent that we can't hold it together, but rather than that, to engage the silence and to look for God in the silent moments. And maybe you have a problem with monkey brain, you know, where no matter how quiet it is around you, your brain is just hopping and wild. Well, that you can train your brain to calm down. You really can. You may do it with some movements, but basically you sit with your palms facing upward. And you breathe in and you breathe out, and you try to focus your brain on just emptiness, on just the breath. It may help to put a word in the breath. And when your brain starts to run off to other things, you just shoo those thoughts away and bring it back. And you practice, and the first day you may only get a few seconds. But the more you practice, the better you'll get. And then your brain will get to where you can still it. You can calm your mind and engage the silence. And in the silence, what you'll find is that you can drift into your own soul and find yourself. And when you find yourself, you will find God. Practice the silence. Find a place, light a candle, breathe, and practice the silence. Because after the storm and the wind and the fire, in the utter, sheer silence, there is God. Loving God, gather us together and bring us comfort like a mother hen gathers her chicks under her wings. Hold us in the warm, downy silence of your love. Amen. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender.